everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my favorite and most used journaling supplies and items. I also want to talk about what I would suggest to buy or use to get started on creating a bullet journal, reading journal, creative journal, all of the above. And then of course, all my additional supplies that I love to use and I really enjoy having, but I don't think are necessities to getting started on your journaling creative endeavors. So without further ado, let's jump in because we've got a lot to talk about today. I first want to talk about the bare bone basics of what I would suggest to use when getting started. So the first thing that you're gonna of course need for a reading journal or a journal in general is a journal itself. So I have quite a few different journals that I love. I'm gonna do an emphasis on reading journals in this video because I do mostly reading journal videos when it comes to any type of journaling on my channel. As you guys know, I love my Archer and Olive journals. So for my reading journal, my every year reading journal, we've got my Archer and Olive 8x8. I love these journals because the paper is so thick and luscious. I love the color of the paper. It's a beautiful white. I love that the dot grid is dark enough that I can see it, but it's not super dark that it takes away from any styling or appearance. I just really enjoy this journal company, and I love the 8x8 specifically for my reading journal because of just how much I can fit on every single spread. I also recently showed you all my new TBR journal, which is also an Archer and Olive. I believe this is a B6. Yeah, I just love these journals. But other companies that you can use for journaling is Midori. I love Midori for my day-to-day journal. The paper is Tomo River paper and it's so nice, and I feel like it is pretty good at not showing the ink on the other side. You can also use Hobonichi. I feel like Hobonichi paper though is a little bit thinner. In the past, I've used Moleskine journals. I've also used the Leuchtturm 1917 journals. So many options. I know there's even more companies out there. So definitely look and do your own research, and obviously budget goes into making decisions, but if you have the money, I would definitely invest in Archer and Olive because of the quality. The next item that you would definitely need when creating a journal is a pencil and an eraser. I love to sketch out and plan any designs, as well as usually with the dot grid, I'm like constantly counting and making sure things are even. So I typically use a mechanical pencil. I also have the kind of typical, I also have like the regular HB pencils. Any pencil you have will do. And of course, you're going to want a good eraser. I like the Staedtler erasers, but I'm not really that hyper specific when it comes to these two. But I would definitely obviously recommend having them so you can sketch things out before you permanently place them in your journal with pen. Now let's talk pens. So let me just grab some of my favorites. I know we all have our own favorite pens. Mine has changed over the years. These are some of my favorites. Actually, I'm gonna also include this one. So specifically for my journaling purposes, I think definitely my favorite pen is the Pigma Micron. I have these in probably all the sizes, all the nib sizes that they offer. And these are just wonderful for writing, and they don't smudge very easily, especially if you're putting marker or any type of like color on top of it. I have not had any smudging problems. The ink is dark, it is very consistent, and they are just easy to use. They're not my favorite to write with, but they are my favorite to design with. These are definitely pens that I have repurchased. I have also used some of these pens for over a year and they still have ink in them. So I feel like they are a great bang for your buck. Another classic favorite of mine is the Muji. I'm like running out of ink here. I love the 0.38 and the 0.5. These are just your classic gel pen. I really have no complaints. I would say they do smudge a little when you highlight on top of them, but they are great to write with. I also adore the Sharpie S Gel pens. These are probably one of my favorite pens that I've had over the past couple of years. I love these 0.38 again and the 0.5. These are just very good, consistent pens. I do think that they smudge a tiny bit, but they're not as bad as other pens when I am using any type of highlight or marker on top of them. I also love the Pilot G2. This is in 0.5. It's obviously a thicker ink, but I think that this just writes so smoothly. Another favorite is the Pentel Energel Clena pens, 0.4 and 0.5. I enjoyed the 0.4 nib. I feel like it's the best of both worlds, where it's not too thin and not too thick. These ones write so beautifully, but I am surprised that they smudge quite a bit when you highlight over them, and I already ran out of one. So I think maybe the ink barrels are not that big compared to other pens, like compared to my Sharpies. But I did write a lot for me to run out of one of them, but I was surprised that I did. But again, I really enjoy these pens. A nice white pen I find is the Uniball Signa Blend. This one is a little bit thicker. I have another white pen that I enjoyed, but that is a thinner nib. But I think this one, the ink is just brighter and whiter in my opinion. So I really like that. So that's good for a white pen. Again, not necessary, but I wanted to give an example. And then lastly, my beautiful fountain pens. I would say my new favorite is the Lamy. I don't remember which one this is. I will put what specific pen it is, but I love this pen. It is so light. It's so easy to write with and comfortable. And I have the fine nib and I think it's wonderful. Really enjoy this pen. And then I also have my TWSBI, I think it's the Diamond 580 pen. This one is really nice as well. I just find that it is heavy. So after a while, it's kind of heavy to use and a bit bulky for my preference, but I really like the nib, and I think this one is extra fine. This one was actually a gift from my brother. Oh, another one I love is this one. What is this? I don't remember what company it is. Plaisir Platinum. This was my first ever fountain pen, and I love it. It is a thicker nib, but I just love how this one writes. My only kind of thing I don't like about it is that it is not a refillable pen. So you can see I'm already running out of ink, so I have to buy these cartridges for it. So you can't really use whatever ink you want with it. But I love the way this writes, and I've used this a lot in my reading journal. So many pens to choose from, but any pen and any color that you prefer. I love black pens. You'll definitely need. So I've given so many options here, but I think if I were to suggest two, it would definitely be the Pigma Micron for, you know, decorating borders, making designs. And then either the Sharpie S Gel or the Pentel Energel Clena. I think the S Gel is easier to find. The next item I would say that you need is a ruler. Now, I love metal rulers. They are my preferred ruler. I used this one for probably 4 years before I bought a new one. This one is bendier than my new one. But I love them both, and I find the metal ones give you a very crisp line. I do have an acrylic one, but it's not my favorite because I feel like it's a little bit harder to see your line, like where you're putting your line. And with the ruler, the metal one, it is very easy to make sure your line is lined up. But my new favorite is definitely the Coffee Monsters Co. ruler. I just find it such a precise ruler. But I love this one for years and years and years that I got from Indigo, and I don't see them selling it anymore. But again, any ruler will do. These are just the ones that I have. And then lastly, to add in color to your journal, you're going to need some type of marker. I prefer markers over like coloring pencils, and I have a few favorites. I would say my most favorite dual tip marker is the Tombow dual tip brush. I find these are consistent. The ink is so beautiful. The nibs are really nice, and I just have no complaints. I use the water-based ones in my journal, and I just love the way these write. I love their color selection. They are a little bit more expensive, but they're not the most expensive that I've seen. I love them so much. I also really love the Ohuhu markers. These I buy on Amazon. It's just a little bit harder to recommend these ones because they are only sold in sets. So if you like one specific color, I don't really think you can buy them individually. Possibly you can, but I haven't seen that available. But what I really love about these ones is that the brush or fine liner part is super fine, and I love that. But I would say the brush part is just not as nice of a brush as the Tombow, and I feel like the brush tip like feathers out and wears a lot faster. But I love the color selection that you can get, and you can get them for a pretty good price. Again, this is the water-based ones. I don't get the alcohol-based ones for my journals. And then of course the Zebra Mild liners. I love these. These are amazing for versatility, but again, the tips are different. You have a fine tip and then you have a bold tip. It's kind of like a highlighter tip. So for designing and coloring, it might not work for all purposes, but these are very easy to find. I love the colors that they provide. I wish they had more neutral, like not so pastel-y and bright sets, but I've had this set for going on maybe 4 years, and I still have ink in every single one of them. So I find that this does not run out. I've also have not had my Tombows run out, but I have had my Ohuhu markers run out before. So yeah, those are some options, and these are the ones I use the most. I would say out of all three, I use my Tombow markers the most. So those are all the products and items I would recommend for just getting started. I think with all of those, you can create such a beautiful journal that is both creative and practical. And then if you want to kind of add more things to spice it up, then these are all the things that I love and use on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that kind of make it just more fun. But again, obviously all of this will cost more money, and so it's not necessary. So on top of the marker and pen category, I love these Tombow Foodanesco brush pens. These ones are really nice for adding like calligraphy or adding a more bold like headline or title to your page. So I have both the hard tip and the soft tip. But again, like I have used just pens and markers to give that illusion of like a calligraphy pen. So not necessary, but these are a new addition to my collection since late last year, and I love these two so much. So definitely recommend getting these. A little bit harder for me to find. I found a set online on Amazon, but they aren't the cheapest brush pens that I have purchased, but they are currently my favorite brush pens for like calligraphy title purposes. Next, I want to talk about stickers. I love stickers. I feel like they add so much fun and just like an additional pizzazz to any type of spread. So if you go through my reading journal, you'll see for like my title pages, I'll add stickers here and there to kind of just, you know, make it a little bit special. And I get my stickers from all over the place, but I will show you all some of my favorites. So my first favorite that I am kind of upset about, where is it? Because I can't really find these stickers anywhere. Where are they? I love gold foiling type stickers. I love gold anything. I'm a gold jewelry person, and these are my favorite stickers to find, but I find they are the hardest to find online for some reason. I found these in a random sticker shop in Vancouver, and I am very sad that I'm almost out of them. But I love anything that has like a transparent background so it doesn't affect any design. But I love these ones. I also have like these stickers from Archer and Olive from one of their quarterly subscription boxes that I've been using for almost a year now. I also love these like little script poetry circles to kind of add a little something extra. I really like these because they are a bit transparent when you place them down. I also get a bunch of sticker books off of Amazon. A lot of my stickers you'll see are very like nature-y, bookish type stickers, so I kind of have a theme. But this book I got last year, so I'm just getting into it now. I also have, you know, these sticker sets. I've also bought in stickers on Etsy, so a lot of these dotted stickers I really enjoy to add a little something extra to my designs. And then I have also a bunch of different sticker sheets that, of course, you can see I've used a lot of. Some of them are newer than others. And again, like I've gotten them from so many different places online. I will link some of my favorite places, but you can find a lot of stickers on Etsy. You can find a lot of sets on Amazon. And then all these sticker books you can also find that are really nice to have. But I think stickers are such a fun addition. That's not a sticker sheet to your journals. But again, not necessary, but so much fun to collect and use. And as someone who, I was a sticker hoarder growing up, I never used the stickers I bought. This has been very healing to buy stickers and actually use them in designs, because it's just so much more satisfying to actually use your stickers rather than just keep them to look at them. The next thing I think is such a fun staple that I definitely use in my journals is using a printer. So I don't even own a printer. I actually go and get stuff printed. So usually it's about like once every 1 to 2 months, I will go and do a big, massive print job at like a print shop and get all my printing done. And it's just such an amazing way to add design to your reading journals without having to draw. So I use Google and Pinterest a lot to find like specific vibes I'm going for in my journal. So here are just some that I have not used yet that I feel like is just so fun. I'll find like collages to use, or just specific vibes or quotations. And then one of my biggest, most asked question, I would say, is how I print my book covers. So it's really simple. I just save a copy of the book cover off of Google. I open a Word document and I size them by 1 inch by 1.5 inches. And I just print full sheets of covers. Then I store them all in this little box. And I have another box with more. And then whenever I read the book or use it for a spread, I will take it and tape it down. So I love printing, I find it is such an easy way to add some pizzazz to your spreads, especially if you are not comfortable with drawing. For my printing essentials, I guess you could say, I've got quite a few, so let me pull them out. So for my essentials that I use in my journal specific to printing and stickers, the first thing is a double-sided tape dispenser. So this one is the Tombow one. I would say this is my favorite, but I've used brands from the dollar store. I've used brands from Michael's that are like off-brand. They all work, but my preferred one is the Tombow one. It is just sometimes double to triple the price. So it is a luxury, I would say, but this one works really, really well. And this is just so easy to, you know, quickly tape around the edges and then you put it down. It's like glue, but in tape form. And it is just so much easier and cleaner to use than glue. But I have used glue before. My next favorite item to use is just like craft tweezers. These are perfect, especially for small stickers, to place them in specific areas of my spreads. I just find that these work really well. My next favorite is just very, very sharp scissors. So I have these tiny ones. I actually bought these from a website from a woman that sells stuff for cookie making. So if you didn't know, I do sugar cookies, and so these I used for my tipless piping bags to make really small tips for icing cookies, and they are so precise and sharp. And so I have multiples of these, so I just use one of them for my crafts because these just give me very, very precise cuts. It is just really small. So that's my only thing I don't love about it. If I am doing a big cut job, I pull out the big guns. I have one of these. I don't even know what they're called. I also use one of these cutters for paper for ease and quickness, but it doesn't give me that super, super, super precise cut that I sometimes desire. And then lastly, I did not realize how much I would love this product, but it is a corner cutter tool. So as you can see here, it has different sizes of corners. So if you wanted to take one of these papers and make the corners not sharp, you use it and it will make it a nice curved corner for you. So this was, I think, $5-6 and probably one of my favorite investments I've ever made. The next item is definitely more of a bookish type thing that I love for my reading journal, and that is just using an old book for the pages. So this one was a book that I got in a little free library. I actually have 2 copies of this book. I haven't read it yet, but I just use this whenever I want a page of a book in my spreads. And so I have used this same book for years and it feels like I haven't even touched it yet. So I just prefer using this rather than buying newly made paper that looks like old book paper for my spreads, because I just feel like that's so wasteful. And so yeah, I just use an old book and it has done me well. I think in the future, if I ever finish this book, I would use a book that is a bit bigger and not like a mass market paperback, because sometimes I wish I had a larger paper to work with and not such a tiny paper, but I'm gonna make it work until I run out. Oh gosh, my next thing that I love and I collect so much of that it is ridiculous is washi tape. As you can see here, I have quite a vast collection and I still feel like there's areas that I am missing, but I'm trying my best not to buy too many new washi tapes before I use them up, because it is quite hard to actually use up washi tape. Like these were my first ever washi tapes from Muji, and I've had these since probably 10 years ago, and I haven't finished them. And a lot of like these shapes and designs are not my vibe anymore, but I refuse to throw them out. But I love washi tape. I feel like it is such a beautiful way to add some extra pop of color and design to your spreads. I use it a lot for the edges of my pages. I use them to help me design my color theme of each month in my reading journal. I just love them all. So some of my favorite places to get washi tapes are from Amazon. I have also really lucked out from HomeSense. I got a lot of these really pretty like vintage type looking ones from HomeSense. I also love the Coffee Monsters Co. These ones I use a lot more in my Hobonichi planner than I do in my reading journal because they are more like productivity type vibes, but there are some of them that I have used in my reading journal. I also love Archer and Olive. They come out with some of the most beautiful designs that have such nice gold touches to them. And we all know I love gold, so those ones are really nice as well. I also got these like really large ones from an Archer and Olive subscription box, and I love these. So washi tapes, man, I love them. And I find you can get them for quite an affordable price. Definitely look around. HomeSense was probably the cheapest. I got like rolls of 5 or 6 for like $3. Amazon, you're gonna get a large amount of them, so you're gonna have to pay probably between like $10 to $20. And then of course the more expensive ones are from like artists. So Archer and Olive and the Coffee Monsters Co. They, sell them for, I think maybe like between $4 to $10 per roll. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think most of them are like around $6, but they are definitely some of my favorites. We're almost at the end here. Next, let's talk about stamps. I love stamps, and I use stamps so much in my reading journals. I think my most used is definitely my alphabet and number stamp kit. I've used this for probably 4 years now, and I love, love, love this kit. If you hate your handwriting stamps, and using lettering stamps for titles is a game changer. It makes everything look so clean and pretty. I love this kind of like vintagey font, but there are so many you can find online. And my favorite stamp or stamp ink is the Trodat. This one I've had for years and it has not dried out on me. This one is starting to dry out a little bit, but it has lasted me for so long. It is super, super dark and it is quite permanent. Next, my other most used stamps are these 3 here. I have a 5-star symbol stamp for ratings, this like 3-star cutie pie, and this book stamp. You can see they are covered in ink. I got these 3 off of Etsy, so I will link the shop in my description. But these are probably my most used on top of the alphabet ones. And then I have all these like fun ones here. I also have some of these stamps that are on these rubbery type. They don't have a wooden backing to them, so you need these stamp blocks to stick them to, and then you can use them. So this one is really nice from Archer and Olive. I really like this one. I also have had ones off of Amazon that I have used. I've kind of gotten stamps from everywhere, but I would say my favorites are definitely the alphabet and then these 3 here, my most used for sure. Another product that I forgot to talk about is whiteout. It is, of course, definitely needed for any mistakes that you use in your journal. I just use Bic. Like, I've had this whiteout for years and years and years. I know there are also whiteouts now that are like of a cream color, so that would be perfect for journals that aren't like a stark white page. But whiteout is just kind of a necessity when it comes to any type of journaling practice with pen. And then lastly, I want to just talk about storage, because obviously a lot of this takes up so much space. And so I kind of have stored things in every single type of way possible. So let me show you. So I keep this little container on my desk. I just store whatever markers that I'm currently using or currently having a theme with in this big compartment. I usually also have this. Then in these two here, I put pens and pencils in this, and then I usually put all my tools in here. Now I have them all kind of scattered, but I really like this to have like quick and easy access on my desk for day to day whenever I'm updating my journal or my planner. I also have this pencil case on my desk that holds more markers. This one is from the Coffee Monsters Co. Obviously, I have a lot in here, but I also, whenever I'm on the go or traveling, I will put all of my products in this one to travel with. As for storage, I use a lot of different bins, so hopefully I can put this on camera. I have multiple bins on my desk that I store all of my stuff in. So I put all my washi tapes in these bins, and these, all of my kind of containers, for the most part, are just reused boxes from Archer and Olive. Whenever you get a new journal, or even whenever I was on their subscription, they always come with really nice boxes with lids on them. They are just really nice to store things in. So I save practically all of them to use and to store stuff in. So I store my washi tape in a couple different boxes. These two black ones were from like a necklace I got as a gift. Then I have like a Muji pencil case with more book covers there. I also use pouches for storing all kinds of things. So like I have my markers in this one. Then I have like my cases for other markers here. So I just use whatever I can find. Old boxes, or, you know, I got these baskets as a gift. Anything that I feel like you can store things in a way that it is easily accessible for you to use, I would recommend them. So there we have it. Those are all my favorite and most used journaling products and supplies that I use on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Again, so much of this is so excessive and unnecessary. If you want to start a reading journal or any type of creative journal, all you really need is a journal, a pencil, and a pen, and a ruler, and an eraser. But then there's so much you can add to make it more fun and creative. So thank you all for watching this video and spending what it feels like is an hour with me. Let me know if you see any products that are missing. I try to cover all aspects of journaling, but there's a lot that I've used over the years. And let me know what are your favorite products that maybe I haven't talked about, then I could look into, because I'm always looking for more product recommendations. So thank you all for watching and spending this time with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you stick around for more, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!